So you want to start making some videos and you don't think that you're creative. First and foremost, bullcrap. That is not true. Everybody is creative. It's like our natural form. It is who we are as human beings. Every single one of us is creative in some way. We all find creative solutions. We all have a capacity to tell an amazing story. We all have the capacity to express ourselves creatively. So what happened? Why do we think that we aren't creative? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about this book, The Artist's Way. I'm about 3 weeks into this 12-week program. They call it a recovery program, but it's open to anybody. It doesn't mean you're an alcoholic, doesn't mean you're a crazy person. The Artist's Way is, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The workload that this book gives you is consistently about an hour a day on average, which is a commitment. Like for a 12-week program, personally, it at first it seems like a lot, but I genuinely believe this can get any person who doesn't believe that they're creative. If you're an accountant, if you're a mathematician, if you're an engineer, if you just don't believe that you have a creative side and you can't express yourself in a free way, if you see the world in black and white and you just don't think that like you can play in the gray area of life, this book's going to show you that that's nonsense. And in 12 weeks of work, they promise that you're going to get in touch with a creative side that you may or may not knew that existed. Just a little bit, just so you guys can make a decision whether or not this is something that you want to do. Personally, I found huge benefit in the activities and the tasks that this book makes you do. One of the big themes of what it means to be a creative is you open yourself out to the world. Like you bring to light a part of yourself or a part of your community or a part of your family or a part of your way of life, and you express it through writing or through storytelling or through content in a way that like reveals things. And for a lot of us, we feel a lot of shame when it comes to being vulnerable or revealing things or showing things about ourselves to the world. We may have come from dysfunctional families, or we may have traumas in the past when we expressed ourselves. A big part of this book is to look back at our demons or our monsters, our creative monsters, when we showed a creative work and seemingly we were punished for it, or we got a negative reaction and it hurt us and we felt shame for even like, how dare I be creative? And I think that every single one of us has those traumas or those monsters or those painful moments from the past that we have to kind of look at and, you know, heal and do some writing on and write a letter to the person that hurt us. The tasks in this book really allow us to, there's another task that's really interesting where we create these alternative lives where like I wanted to be a piano player or a saxophone player, or I wanted to be a film director, or I wanted to be a writer. And it makes you write out like sometimes I'm on week 3 right now, but like so far I've written out 15 alternative lives, and it even challenges you like, why don't you do a hobby from one of these 15 lives that you see as interesting, like a professional tennis player? Why don't you go out and play tennis? And it'll actually challenge you to go and do things for yourself and do things that are just for you and do things that are just fun and for play, which is really what creativity is. The 2 main parts of this book that they claim are the foundations, and the foundational aspect of this recovery program is to write 3 pages of free-flowing journal scratch into the pages every single day. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the first week I got about 5 out of 7, the second week I got 2 out of 7, and so far this 3rd week I've got 2 out of 2, and I'm determined to do well for the rest of this program. So like the discipline of creativity is actually a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. But when I do actually write these 3 pages first thing in the morning, I realize that I'll get my crazy negativity out on the page and like my thoughts going everywhere where I need to do this project or I need to do that project and I need to get here, I need to do that. I get all that stuff out on paper. That way I'm not thinking that stuff throughout the day, and it kind of opens me up and it frees me up to be a little more playful, to be a little bit more present today, where I'm at, exactly where I'm at. So the journals are number one. You will probably write out a lot of negative stuff, and then she actually has tasks where you rewire that negative stuff that you write out on paper, like, I'm no good, I'm a terrible writer, I shouldn't be writing these pages, blah blah blah, and then you rewire it where you're like, no, I'm a creative writer, I'm this great writer, I'm a great creative person, I'm connected to the universe, I'm connected to God, if you believe in God. And you rewire these negative connotations or these negative beliefs that we developed throughout our lives, or they call it blocks. And you rewire them in your brain so that you don't stay blocked. You don't stay as a blocked artist. And it opens you up and it gives you permission to create. The next part, the second part of the foundation outside of the journals, is you have to take yourself on an artist date. An artist date being with nobody else, by yourself, which isn't a bad thing, I promise. By yourself, you're going to go out and you're going to do something creative, and you're going to do something for you. You're going to do something creative. You're going to do something for you. You're going to do a date. And for some people, one guy, he put earbuds in his ears and he listened to Mozart and just rode his bike around town for 2 hours, and he said he had a spiritual experience. Another person said that they just went to every art gallery in their town. Other people will, go to the beach and they'll play the bongos for an hour and a half and just hang out. In quarantine, I've been watching old movies and I've been studying old masters like Hitchcock that I just totally admire. And I've given myself permission to sit down and stop being a neurotic person and just enjoy movies. So far, this book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, I believe she's James Cameron's wife, and she was married to Scorsese for a whopping 12 months. This book is, it's phenomenal. This book is hard. It makes you look at the painful blockages and traumas that you've experienced in your life that keep you from giving yourself permission to be creative. I honestly believe that if you still have doubts about whether or not you're creative, that's horse crap. Every single one of us is creative. You may have some shame or trauma or something going on inside yourself that doesn't give yourself permission to say that you are a creative and give yourself permission to play and have fun and go there. And I genuinely believe that if you want that in your life, this book might help. Thanks so much, you guys. This is just my experience. I actually have no affiliates with The Artist's Way. I have no plug for you guys to buy this book. It's just something that I'm doing. It's really hard. It's really challenging. It makes you face yourself. But if you think you're up for the task, 12 weeks, 1 hour a day commitment, let's get creative.